Hello traders, I'm Ignan Bersenko, and in this video I'm going to share with you my Elliott wave charts. So let's start with dollar index, where we've got a wedge here which could be wave 1, and this small bullish impulse could be wave 1 inside a bigger wave 3. So I'm out of the market until this downward correction ends. So when we see here a complete zigzag and then an upward impulse, something like we had here, so only after this I'm going to buy. British pound is still bearish, so I've got here 3 short trades, and it's likely that we have here a triangle in wave 4. So if another pullback from this moving average line happens on Monday, I'm going to sell even more. There is another triangle on Australian dollar on the daily chart, and we've got here out of pullbacks from this moving average line. So it seems like we are going to have an extension here in the third wave. So when this local correction ends and when we see a small downward impulse inside this possible wave 3, I'm going to sell to trade this possible bearish movement. As we can see on the euro-dollar daily chart, there is a possible triangle in wave B, and then we've got a downward impulse which could be the first wave. So it seems like I'm going to get my stop loss here, and then when we see possible zigzag here in wave 2 and then a small bearish impulse which could be the first wave inside possible wave 3, I'm going to sell. I'm still out of the market on Japanese yen because this wave structure is quite difficult, because we can have here a triangle in wave 4, but also wave 4 could take a form of any correction pattern, so I'm not going to trade this pair next week. We've got a correction on Australian dollar versus New Zealand dollar, and it seems like wave 2 is going to take a form of a double zigzag. However, wave 2 also could take a form of a flat, which means we can have here a bearish impulse and it's going to be ABC if we see here a flat. So I'm out of the market until we see here plain and clear correction structure and a bullish impulse, something we have here, something maybe here. So I'm going to buy only when this correction ends and when we've got a confirmation which could be a bullish impulse somewhere in here. Euro versus pound is still bullish. I've got one long trade here, and if we see an upward impulse in this wave 5, I'm going to buy more. I'm currently out of the market on Singaporean dollar because it seems like we're going to have a correction here which could be wave 4 inside this bigger wave 3. So when this correction ends, I'm going to buy to trade this possible wave 5. Pound versus Australian dollar is still bearish, so if the price comes back under this moving average line, I'm going to sell more. I'm keeping my long trades on dollar versus crown because there is an opportunity to have wave 5 inside this bigger wave 3. And as you can see on the 4 hours chart, we've got here a diagonal triangle in wave C and a possible bullish impulse in wave 1. So if we see here a small wave 3, I'm going to buy more to trade this bullish impulse. There is a very strong bullish trend on Mexican dollar, and it's likely that this wave 5 is going to take a form of a diagonal triangle. So I've got one long trade and I'm going to buy more to trade this possible bullish impulse, and I'm going to close my trades if we see a pullback from the upper side of this diagonal triangle. Turkish lira is still bullish, so it seems like we've got here a triangle in wave 4, so we can have another bullish impulse in this wave 5, I mean this upward movement. However, it's likely that wave 5 inside this wave 1 is going to end next week, so there's an opportunity to have a downward correction, which means when this impulse, I mean wave 5 ends, I'm going to close my long trade. And there is another interesting market where we have this wave 3, which is likely going to be continued, so I have just one short trade, but if we see here a bearish impulse in wave 5, I'm going to sell more. Gold is still bearish, and we've got here a pullback from this moving average line and the upper side of the current channel. So I've got one short trade, and if we see here a bearish impulse in wave 5, I'm going to sell even more. The main trend on wheat is still bearish, and there is a possible diagonal triangle in wave 5, but my short trade here has been closed by this price movement, and it's very funny because it was very accurate here. So I'm out of the market until this entire pattern ends. And this correction on oil is likely going to be continued, so when I saw here a local zigzag last Friday, I opened a short trade because this movement could be quite deep. However, if we see here, for example, a zigzag and then an upward impulse, which could be the first wave inside this wave 3, I'm going to buy to trade another bullish impulse. And there is a very annoying triangle on Dow index, which is likely going to end soon, so I have one long trade, and if we see here a bullish impulse in wave 5, I'm going to buy more. Currently I'm out of the market on Apple shares cause this wave 2 is likely going to be continued, and at the same time I've bought Microsoft shares cause it seems like we're going to have wave 5 inside this wave 3. Facebook is very bullish, so I've got here one long trade and I'm going to buy more on Monday. Goldman is very interesting cause there is an opportunity to have an extension in the third wave here, so I'm keeping my long trade. So that's all for today's video. Have a good weekend and profitable next week. See you on Monday. Bye bye.